Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of RV Tips and Trips. Hey, a while back we experienced a water leak. No, not this time, not up on the roof, but in the basement. I noticed water dripping from underneath the trailer, and so I had to investigate, see what was going on, and this is what I found. Okay, and I would recommend watching to the end, because then you'll see what the culprit was that caused the leak to start with, which I was surprised when I finally realized what was going on. Alright, so I noticed this dripping from under the rig, and so I looked down under here. So this pass-through area where the water hose goes through goes into the docking station, and the docking station is totally dry in there. So the water is definitely coming from the basement and then kind of bleeding through this panel. And so I removed the basement wall. I'm going to stick this in the truck because it's kind of windy. Don't need it to blow away. So fortunately, they did it in two halves. So, all right, now that that's out of the way, let's take a look, see what's going on. So there's a lot of water in there. At first I thought it was the water pump, but it's not. Water leaks are the worst because it's hard to find exactly where it is. Is it originating over by the hot water tank? I don't see anything leaking down from above, so I got the water off. All right, so I turned the water back on, and I see it leaking from the back of the hot water tank right at the connection. So I'm hoping it's just a bad water connection. I'm gonna go turn the water back off, and then we'll see about getting to it. Fix it. Oh, right there. It's at the outlet of the hot water tank, dripping down onto the other one. All right. Hopefully it's not the hot water tank itself. And so it appears that the leak is actually from the connector itself and not the hot water tank. So that's really good news. All right. So there's a hot water bypass right there. What it does, it cuts the cold water off going to the hot water tank. Let me just flip that off. This way I can turn the water back on. At least we can have cold running water until I fix that leak. So we are staying here in Gunnison. Fortunately, there was an Ace hardware store, so I was able to get replacement PEX connectors, and hopefully this is good enough to fix that. I got two of them. One is a backup just in case, and these special cutting tools. And before we get too far along, I opened this up and released the pressure within the tank. Even though it's bypassed, it'll drain out any water that was sitting up top. This way it doesn't run all inside when I undo that connection. So I removed the divider on the other side to gain better access to the hot water tank. As you can see, we dried out that floor pretty good. So I got rid of most of the water, and I was getting ready to replace the connector up here on the hot water tank, and then I realized the connection was actually loose. So I tightened it, and that resolved that leak. And wait, let me tell you, that was quite a leak too. Well, I guess that exemplifies the KISS principle, which is keep it simple, stupid. Man, I wish I had checked the connection for tightness before going out to the store and buying the stuff. All right, so after that, finding that big leak down there, I decided to look around and I found more connections over here leaking. This was had a little bit of a drip, not too bad, but I couldn't resolve it, so I had to replace the hose. This is a new hose, and that fixed that drip. Everything is now watertight all around. And then I figured, since I was in here, because normally this is all closed up, the water pump here, I decided to check the filter screen on it, and that's right over here. I unscrewed that off, and there was a couple of chunks of silica in there, but nothing bad really. So all is now good. So I've just been leaving it open for the last couple days just to ensure that no other leaks pop up. Okay, so this was the culprit as far as the basement water leak was concerned. It was our pressure regulator. It failed, and the water pressure in the park was 90 psi, and that's what I found. This was all the way up to 90 psi, and that was causing the connections to leak in the basement. Too much pressure. I normally keep this adjusted down to about 40 psi, and for some reason it failed and went up to what the actual pressure was in the park. So these do go bad after a while. I said it went from 40 to 90 psi, and I did not realize what had happened until I took a look and I saw that. I was like, wow. All right, so you never know when these pressure regulators are going to actually go bad. It can happen. So you should check your pressure every day, take a look, make sure that it's in the proper range if you have one of those adjustable ones. I do have an alternative to the adjustable one. Here, let me show you. All right, so I have this one. It has a pressure gauge on it. It doesn't show the actual pressure, it just shows the acceptable range and whether the pressure is low or high. It's not adjustable. It's a fixed, probably should be fixed somewhere around 45 to 50 psi. But I always keep a spare regulator. I had this on hand, so once I discovered that the pressure went crazy on the other regulator, I was able to hook this one up. So I do keep a couple of regulators on hand just in case. I got a plastic one, I got another brass one, and that are preset to 50 psi. So all right, so that concludes today's video. And like I said, don't take your water regulators for granted, because things can go wrong with them also. So got to keep an eye on them. I would definitely, if I were to get a regulator, I'd get one that has a pressure gauge on it, so you know what's going on. All right, and until next time, happy camping. Bye now. Thomas says thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Until next time, happy camping.